Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties, education, and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
Liberty Counsel joins a number of other evangelical organizations in taking to task the mainstream media for failing to cover probably one of the biggest religious liberties lawsuits of our time. I'm Matt Barber, Vice President of Liberty Counsel Action. Joining me again today in studio is Harry Mihet, Senior Litigation Counsel with Liberty Counsel. Well, Harry, the fury over ABC, CBS, and NBC evening newscasts' refusal to report the lawsuits that Catholic entities have filed. 43 Catholic entities have filed against the Obama administration. Has spread beyond our friends over at the Media Research Center. That's a watchdog organization that holds the media accountable for its bias in news reporting. A number of Christian organizations, Liberty Counsel being one of them, have come to the defense and have aligned behind these Catholic organizations, both supporting them in terms of the lawsuit against the HHS, this unconstitutional mandate that would, as you know, Harry, require that Catholic organizations pay for abortion services, abortifacients, sterilization, birth control, things that certainly Catholics find objectionable, that are central violations of fundamental tenets of the Catholic faith. Liberty Counsel is supporting the Catholics in this lawsuit, certainly, but the big story here is the fact that the mainstream media has spiked this story. This may be one of the biggest religious liberties lawsuits of our time. 43 Catholic organizations, dioceses, Notre Dame, a number of universities, and so forth, suing the federal government and the president over this unconstitutional mandate, yet one network covers 19 seconds of the story, and that's it. I can't remember a time where we've seen this media bias this blatant.
And this ought to outrage every freedom-loving American, Matt, that not just the ones that the organizations that have spoken out on this issue. I mean, as you said, this lawsuit is historic. It's not every day that the government gets sued by one of the mainstream religions and denominations in the United States on allegations that basically their constitutional rights have been trampled by the Department of HHS. And for the media to completely ignore this story is just, they've dropped any pretense of objectivity, Matt, and are doing their listeners a huge disfavor. And perhaps instances like these explain why so many people are just tuning out the mainstream media.
Well, newspapers like the New York Times, their sales are plummeting. The networks are losing their hemorrhaging viewers. This is a new day where the mainstream media does not operate in a vacuum. They don't have a monopoly over what is or is not newsworthy. The new media, programs like Faith and Freedom, the internet, blogs, Twitter, Facebook, the news is getting out there, and people are going around the mainstream media directly to the American people to get the news out. So we need to be encouraged, certainly, that there are vehicles to deliver the news. But the mainstream media here, again, they've abandoned all pretense of objectivity.
They have, and it goes to show you that it is an ideologically driven move. It's not a financially driven move, because they have managed to alienate a large percentage of their viewership, and they know that they are hemorrhaging viewers, and yet they refuse to do what they're supposed to do, and that is to objectively cover the stories of the day. And so instead, they have this ideologically driven program and are prepared to put themselves out of business over their ideology that is so far the mainstream that everyone knows it but them, apparently.
Yeah. Well, and it's no big secret that the mainstream media is in the tank for President Obama. This is an election year. Any news that might appear unfavorable to the president. They want to spike that story. They don't want the word getting out. They don't want people talking about this lawsuit against HHS around the water cooler. They don't want people reflecting on the fact that this president has arbitrarily, unilaterally issued this mandate, a gross abuse of executive authority, trampled the United States Constitution. I can't think of, in my lifetime certainly, a more blatant violation of the Constitution than to tell Christian organizations that you must pay for abortifacients. You must pay for something that you find morally reprehensible, that you find a mortal sin. Well, forget it. The Constitution no longer applies according to this president and this mandate. Am I right?
You are absolutely right, Matt. And we ought to make clear to our listeners that this isn't just a Catholic issue. Mm-hmm. It's not just birth control that is being pushed down the throats of these unwilling organizations. It's abortifacients.
That's right.
Abortion-inducing drugs that any Christian, any principled Christian would have an objection to. And let's also keep in mind that this isn't about whether or not anybody can actually have access to these drugs and go down to the drugstore and buy them. That's not on the table. That's been legal and will continue to stay legal. What is being required here is unwilling religious institutions and charities to actually pay, to take the money from the collection plate on Sunday and to put it towards abortion-causing drugs on Monday. An astounding violation of conscious rights that should trouble every American, not just our Catholic friends.
Yeah, in a word, this is about power. This is about the federal government exercising its power over religious organizations. This is exactly what the founders were talking about when they set up the religion clause of the First Amendment. Thomas Jefferson famously wrote to the Danbury Baptists about the wall of separation between church and state. This is exactly what he was talking about, a wall of separation protecting the church from the state. The left portrays this as a war on women. As you point out rightly, access to contraception and abortifacients is wide open. I mean, for change, you can go down to a Planned Parenthood clinic and pick up birth control. There are a number of clinics that even offer free birth control. So this is not about access to birth control or women's rights. This is about power and trampling religious freedom.
That's right. You know, the left has mutated and mutilated that separation of church and state principle to where it would be unrecognizable to our founders. I mean, imagine that Thomas Jefferson could be walking around today to see that his separation of church and state principle is being used to take down monuments of the Ten Commandments and to outlaw religious expression in the public square, while at the same time, the government is allowed to impose its will on churches and religious institutions and to require them to do things that are antithetical to their religious doctrine and principles. They've just completely turned it around, and Thomas Jefferson would roll in his grave if he knew what was going on.
Yeah, the Founding Fathers would not even recognize this country today, the way and the manner in which the Constitution is being trampled. You know, in a letter to Benjamin Rush, Thomas Jefferson made very clear what he was referring to in talking about the Establishment Clause of the United States Constitution. 10 words: Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, the ACLU, and others like to conveniently forget or prohibiting the exercise, free exercise thereof portion of that focus. But the Establishment Clause, Congress, the United States Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. He was talking about a state religion like the Anglican Church, a federal religion like Great Britain had the Anglican Church. He made that very clear in a letter to the Danbury Baptists, but it's been twisted. We only have about 30 seconds.
Well, I mean, he was also talking about the very thing that we're dealing with here today. Government using the police power of government to force religious institutions to do things that are against their religious beliefs. That's what he wanted to avoid with his separation of church and state. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, i.e., Congress shall not require a church to pay for abortion-causing drugs.
Well, folks, this is why Liberty Counsel's here. We are here to defend liberty. Your freedoms are under assault right now, more so than we have ever seen. To learn more about what Liberty Counsel is doing, go to lc.org or give us a call at 1-800-671-1776. Join the Liberty Counsel team today. Ask for Take Back America, a book by Matthew Staver. It talks about what our founding fathers really believed and how you can join Liberty Counsel in defending liberty. Again, go to lc.org or give us a call, 1-800-671-1776. Stand with us as we stand in defense of your freedoms, of your religious liberties.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.